A woman is almost never going to walk up and plainly say she's attracted to you or ask you to take the lead. That's just not how attraction usually shows up. Instead, it reveals itself in quieter, more subtle ways. Curious. She'll interact with something around her, and if you don't recognize what that means, the moment can slip by without you even realizing it. By the time you figure it out, her attention may already be somewhere else. Here's the part that might surprise you. Surprised research has shown that the majority of emotional communication happens without words. That means the most important signals she's sending aren't spoken at all. They show up in her body language, her small gestures, the way she moves, especially through her hands. And if you think about it, no one really taught you how to understand that language. You were told to listen to words, to wait for something obvious. But attraction rarely works like that. It's subtle, layered, and often hidden in behaviors that seem ordinary on the surface. If you've ever left an interaction wondering whether she was interested or just being polite, you're not alone. But this is where awareness changes everything. This isn't about tricks. It's about learning to notice what's already there. Once you start seeing it, you stop overthinking and begin to feel the interaction more naturally. At the same time, it's important to stay grounded. A single gesture doesn't mean much on its own. What matters is the pattern, the timing, and the emotional context. When multiple signals align, that's when they begin to carry real meaning. One of the first places this often shows up is in her hair, not just a casual adjustment, but repeated, almost absent-minded movements while her attention stays on you. When attraction is present, the body becomes slightly restless. That energy needs somewhere to go, and often it flows into small physical habits like touching or playing with her hair. It's not planned, it just happens. Then there's the neck, one of the most vulnerable parts of the body. When she lightly touches it or draws attention to it while talking to you, it can signal a sense of comfort and trust. Attraction grows where there's a feeling of safety, and this kind of gesture often reflects that emotional openness. Her lips can also become a focus point. Light touches, subtle movements, or even applying lip balm while maintaining eye contact can be an unconscious way of drawing attention. It's not about the action itself, but the context in which it happens. As emotions build, that energy often shifts into small objects around her. She might play with her necklace, adjust a ring, or fidget with an earring. These are ways the body manages heightened feelings like excitement or curiosity. It's not discomfort in a negative sense, it's more like contained energy looking for release. Then comes a more direct shift. If she reaches out and touches you, even briefly, something has changed. That kind of contact usually doesn't happen without a certain level of comfort and interest. In that moment, she's not just expressing something, she's also observing how you respond. And if you freeze or ignore it, the connection can quietly fade. But if you meet it with a natural, calm response, the interaction begins to feel mutual. Sometimes the signals are even more indirect. She might run her fingers along the edge of a glass or trace patterns on a cup while maintaining eye contact. It seems insignificant, but often it's a subtle way of channeling attention that hasn't been expressed openly yet. You might also notice her adjusting her clothing, smoothing fabric, or fixing things that don't really need fixing. This is a natural instinct to present herself well in front of someone she's drawn to. What matters is when it happens. If it starts or increases during your interaction, it's no longer random, it's directed. Attraction isn't one clear signal. It's a collection of small, consistent behaviors that form a pattern. Once you start recognizing that pattern, everything begins to make more sense. As these signals start to build, we reach one of the most misunderstood behaviors. This is where many men get it completely wrong, so pay close attention. Curious. When a woman rests her chin on her hand, gently holds her face, or touches her cheek while listening to you, most people assume she's bored. But very often, the reality is the opposite. What you're seeing is something known as facial framing, a natural human tendency to draw subtle attention to the face when someone is emotionally involved. It looks soft, calm, and open. More importantly, It usually shows up when she feels comfortable enough to relax around you. There's a clear difference between someone who is checked out and someone who is fully present. Disinterest feels distant and disconnected, but this kind of stillness carries focus. Her eyes stay with you. Her expressions shift with what you're saying, thoughtful. There's a quiet warmth in it. She's not pulling away, she's leaning into the moment in her own way. Someone once described sitting across from a man, completely absorbed in the conversation, without even realizing she had rested her chin in her hand, not out of boredom, but because she felt at ease. That's what this gesture often represents: comfort, not disinterest. And once you understand that, you stop confusing calmness with lack of attraction. You begin to notice the quieter forms of interest that don't need to be loud to be real. Think back for a moment. How many situations might feel different now if you looked at them through this perspective? How many times did you assume nothing was there, when in reality, you just didn't know how to read the signs? This is why awareness matters. Not to overanalyze everything, but to recognize patterns and respond with presence instead of hesitation. But noticing these signals is only one part of the experience. The other half, the part that truly shapes what happens next, is how you respond. A woman might show interest, give subtle openings, even create space for something to grow, but she's still observing whether you meet her halfway, not in an aggressive or forced way, but with awareness and a sense that you understand what's happening beneath the surface. If that response never comes, the connection slowly fades. Not because the interest wasn't there, but because it wasn't met. Picture a moment where she's playing with her hair, her body is angled toward you, she's lightly touching her necklace, maybe even brushing your arm. The atmosphere feels different, softer, charged in a quiet way. In that moment, there are only two paths. You either stay inside your head or you step into what's happening. Stepping in doesn't mean saying something bold or dramatic. It's much simpler. It's about aligning with the moment. If she leans in, you don't pull back. If she touches you, you don't freeze. If she holds eye contact, you stay with it instead of looking away too quickly. You allow the moment to exist without trying to control it. Attraction isn't about performing, it's about awareness and giving yourself permission to engage. When you notice consistent signals, don't rush. Just deepen the interaction slightly. Ask something a little more meaningful. Slow your pace, hold eye contact just a second longer. These small shifts change everything because they move the interaction from surface level into something more real. At the same time, stay grounded. No single signal guarantees anything. Attraction can grow, but it can also fade depending on how the moment unfolds. This isn't about trying to get something from someone. It's about recognizing when interest is present and allowing it to develop naturally. There's a big difference between forcing a moment and meeting one. Imagine two scenarios. In one, he notices her signals and simply becomes more present. He matches her energy, responds naturally, and the connection gradually deepens. In the other, he ignores it, stays guarded, and the energy slowly disappears. The difference isn't attraction, it's response. This is why awareness alone isn't enough. Without action, it becomes missed opportunity. But instead of seeing past moments as regret, see them as understanding, because now you move differently. Another important piece is emotional pacing. Attraction has a rhythm. Move too fast and it feels overwhelming. Move too slow and it loses momentum. The key is to match her energy. If she's light and playful, stay there. If she becomes a bit more open, meet her with the same openness. That's what creates flow, that feeling where everything just clicks. And remember, not every friendly or expressive behavior means attraction. Some people are naturally warm with everyone. What matters is consistency and whether those signals feel directed toward you. Patterns reveal intention. At its core, this isn't about decoding someone like a puzzle. It's about becoming aware enough to notice what's already being expressed and grounded enough to respond honestly. When you approach it this way, you stop chasing clarity and start experiencing real connection. As you bring all of this together, your role becomes simple. When you notice these patterns, you acknowledge them through presence, not words. The more natural you are, the more genuine the interaction feels. Because what truly matters isn't what you say, it's how you make her feel in that moment. So instead of asking yourself what to do next, ask how you can be more present. Slow down. Let silence exist. Hold eye contact. Smile when it feels right. Presence creates a sense of comfort where attraction can grow on its own. A simple approach to remember is this: match her energy, then gently lead. Meet her where she is, then deepen the interaction just a little. Share something slightly more personal, keep it real, not dramatic. Attraction often grows in the quiet spaces, in the pauses, in the shared understanding that doesn't need to be spoken. And always stay aware without making assumptions. Even strong signals don't guarantee anything. Stay attentive to how she responds. That's the difference between confidence and pressure. Confidence is open, pressure feels forced, and people sense that immediately. So move forward with this mindset. You're not trying to control anything, you're simply becoming more aware and more authentic. When you do that, your interactions begin to feel natural, almost effortless. That's where real connection exists. In the end, these signals are invitations, not promises. They open the door, but it's up to you to step through. The next time you feel that quiet shift in a conversation, don't hold back because of doubt. Meet it. She's already taken a step toward you.